All right, guys, what's up, and welcome back to the AEC podcast, episode 3, Anything, Everything Cornhole. I'm here with Richard, and we got a lot of news coming for you guys. So
Yes,
we had
do.
a couple tournaments after the last regional that we played together, and how did you do with those couple weeks?
The ones leading up before the
Yeah,
the
because I
derby that
know
we
we
went to?
talked about that we had like rough weeks, but before the Derby, we pretty much played. I played pretty good. I took a win on Monday night with Daryl, Saucy Daryl. Great player. We were at Nonfiction, and we ended up taking first. My other tournaments, Wednesday night wasn't so good. Didn't draw the best partner, but I mean, still shot top shooter of the night. Overall, great week going up to the Derby. How did you do?
Yeah, that's the tough thing about Switch, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I had two tournaments I played before the Derby, which was Wednesday at our local club, the High Desert Baggers. We play there on Wednesdays. Actually, I threw well. I got out of my head. That week before was brutal. I don't know, just really just fighting the mental demons, I'll tell you what. But fought through it, got back on the track, and I think one of the biggest things was stop worrying about all the other stuff and just throw bags. And that's really what I did. I shot that Wednesday night. I shot I think it was like a 9.59. It was crazy. Shot really well. Finished number 1 overall, and then we flipped the coin for Cornelius, which is 1 and 2 when you go into the playoff bracket, or if it's 1 and middle. And luckily, I got 1 and 2. Drew the second highest player, which was Little Chingon. He's an amazing player, man. He's on his way. He's a young kid, but he's got a lot of talent. Got him as my partner. Got him to throw my bags, and he killed it with those bags. We ended up winning that night, which was really good. The next day, went to Purdue Baggers tournament. Actually, was that? No, it wasn't the next day. It was Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, so it was the day before the Derby. Went there, shot number 1 overall over some really good players. So once again, feeling really well. I shot actually that one I shot like a 9.59 as well on the night. Got my partner. They always do 1 in middle there.
And they do PPR.
And he's a great dude. Yeah, it was PPR nights. Both nights were PPR nights, so that was like the big thing. So if anybody out there doesn't understand what PPR is, basically it does not matter whether or not you win or lose. You need to shoot as high as you can. So you can be 0-4 in the rounders, and if you're shooting a 10, it just meant that you probably had some rough partners that weren't helping you out too much. But it doesn't matter, because once you go into the playoffs, then you're going to end up getting generally somebody else who was shooting decent, especially if it's like a 1 in middle situation. And that's how it was with Purdue Baggers, is they do 1 in middle no matter what. So I had a partner pretty decent. Like, I mean, you could tell he can throw. He said it himself. He's only spent a couple months away from throwing, and we all know when you don't have enough time to practice, you're gonna start finding those flaws are gonna start kicking in the games, especially when it is crunch time and you're playing other teams that.
Well, you're gonna start missing left and right. You're not gonna be up the middle as consistent. You'll be on
And
the
when
board, and you'll be fine. But those times that you need to hit a 10, you're gonna hit like a 7.
Well, and that's exactly what happened. We go into our first game, and obviously, like, the first rounds are kind of like, especially if you're an upper, you're in upper position, you're gonna play somebody a little lower. We got through those games fairly easy. There's some still good shots made on us because they're good players. And then we got into the game right before getting into the championship game. My problem was I was just going hole for hole with a guy who can shoot hole for hole. Shout out to Rib City Ricky. The man can literally shoot. And he did, and well deserved for him. I think he went 3 straight 12s. I mean, it's pretty good game. I did have a 5-bag push, though. I wish it was recorded, but it was a 5-bag push to wash us 12s in the second round. Then he goes into the third round and gets another 12. But nonetheless, it was, he earned it. Then we go into the next game, and we're kind of like, dang, that sucks, because we had a good opportunity. And we started off really slow to win third place. And we were down 15-2 against 2 good shooters again. And we ended up just kind of digging deep and fought through it. And we ended up coming back on the 15-2 deficit and ended up winning. So we took third that night. So it wasn't bad.
We actually played 3 tournaments. We forgot to talk about the Tuesday night one. We played Bring Your Own Partner at Laverne.
Oh, we did do BYOP
Yeah, we
at
did.
Tuesday night.
So
That's right.
Monday
Yeah.
night, coming off the
That's
win
right.
with Daryl, I shot well. I ended up shooting like 2 or 3 9s in the playoffs and like high 8s and whatever.
I can tell you exactly where we shot on those.
I was shooting good on Monday. We ended up taking first, but luckily I definitely thought I was screwed that night because I was sitting like I think 12th on the chart, and they were doing total points. And for my last game, I ended up losing. We lost. It was like 19 to like 4, and I was like, dang, I really need some points, you know?
Right.
Because like the middle cutoff was like, I want to say like 13. So like I'm either gonna get someone from the complete bottom or I need to get some points here. Ended up coming back and getting it to like 19 or 19-18 something, and then we ended up losing. But it still gave me enough of points to sit in 4th. And luckily Daryl was 3rd, and they spun the bag for 1 and 2 or 1 in middle. It was total points. So let's talk about that real quick. Do you like total points or do you like PPR or DPR? Because I feel like they all have their perks.
I'm not a big fan. The reason why I'm not a big fan of DPR, I don't know. DPR just, I don't know. PPR, I think to me is.
I think PPR is definitely the most fair.
Because everybody's gonna shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna get a dirty game unless they just don't care. You know. But generally, everybody wants to shoot and get as high as they can. Dude, on that night though, when we played that Derby warm up on Tuesday, I was the second highest shooter of the night. Suave got me by 0.2. He shot an 8.24 and I shot an 8.22.
Mind you, the boards were playing really sticky.
They were playing like extremely sticky, man.
Like we were throwing the wingman. What? They're 6.8 speed, herringbone carpet, herringbone, and it probably played like a 4.
Dude, I was the highest 4-bag percentage shooting at 22% that night. Pretty proud. And a 1.03 DPR, so I was actually doing really well. I think there was like one game in there that I if I'm not mistaken, Suave did get me pretty good, and that was the game where we got eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I shot a 7.33. It was really weird, that game. He shot an 8.5. Shout out to Suave.
The bags are just kicking and stuff. Player. Luckily, the boards were playing slow for me, so I was just rolling over everything. That was probably the greatest night of rolling.
That's right. You had the ESPN moment of
literally
the craziest. I've talked about it and showed people the way that was.
Okay, so to explain to you, like here's the hole, right? So if it's the hole, they had 2 bags sit on the side. They had like 2 in the front and like 1 in the front. So it was like this high. You had to roll over basically 2 bags, and it went up, on, and then curved around and dropped in like a little hole like this big.
Dude, it was like scaling a volcano. That's the best way to put it. Like you stack the bags in a volcano, and then you have the little tiny hole, but it was like drifted to the left a tad.
Mm-hmm.
It went up the entire mountain of bags and then rolled and then dropped in the tiniest hole. Like you can't airmail that.
No.
There's no way. You're going to hit and it's going to trampoline off. You might drop some bags in due to like just them hanging around the hole. But other than that, I mean, Brent Gonzalez there was nothing he could do on that play because even they said just board it, dude. There's no point.
And they always say like, oh, you can airmail, just shoot it. Like they always shoot it.
Yeah,
but he's like, Suave was just like, there's no hole. You can't do anything.
There's no hole there. There was like nothing.
You should like seeing their reaction on their face. They were like,
it was reaction on all of our faces.
There's like what? You know?
Like me and Suave are sitting there, just like, there's just no way that this just happened.
Because you told me you're like, yo, there's a hole there, and I was like, okay. Like I didn't know how big the hole was. I just shot it and it fell, and everyone's face was just like, oh my.
Yeah, it was one of those good days, man. I mean, we didn't win that game, but that was a cool moment. I had some weird bags that game. Like I was hitting airmail shots, and they were trampolining off of bags and flying in other directions. And I think personally, this actually leads up to the Derby. Stamina. Mentally, I personally think something that I got to work on. We all have flaws, and there's stuff that we got to work on. I think where I start lacking in consistency is due to the mental stamina of the game, and just knowing like my first few games, I'm so locked in, man. I am so locked in. Like
I was locked in for the first 7 games.
And I throw killer, but then as the night starts getting, it's getting hotter, or it's just the boards are getting stickier, and then you've just been throwing for a while. Your shoulder's like, dude, I'm done.
Or your hand from the humidity. Your hand gets so sticky. I don't know what it is. It's something about the dirt that comes off the bag into your hand, and then it gets sticky on your hand, and you have to go
carpet
wash
bags,
it.
Man.
Yeah, I don't even know.
One of the hardest ones. Like carpet bags are amazing bags, but when it's sticky and humid, man, those things just it's rough. I've had so many blown games due to like one bag that sticks to my thumb and I shortboard, or it goes up too high and too right
I
or
mean,
too
that
left.
happened. There were so many opportunities on our last game.
Yeah.
Or, no. Was there a last game? Second last game or something. There was, like, opportunities that I had that I missed, opportunities that you, like, went to throw. Or was that first playoff game?
The one at
You,
M-Town Baggers, right?
no, I'm
On
talking
the
about
Tuesday night, or
the
are you talking about
Derby.
Derby?
Like,
Well, Derby we haven't even got into yet. But yeah. No, I mean even Laverne, I had
mm-hmm,
sticky bags, man. Like
mm-hmm,
that's just, but it's no excuse. That's why I'm saying that's what it brings back to is the mental side of the game for the stamina wise.
mm-hmm,
Knowing that, you've got these games, you got to dig deep, you got to find a way to win. It may not be your best game, but you can't give up. And even if you step away just for a second, step back,
mm-hmm,
collect yourself. And I didn't do that, and I definitely didn't do it when it came Derby time. Um,
mm-hmm.
we tried a couple times, but I was so rattled. So let's get into Derby. Derby was fun, by the way. I
Yeah.
mean, it was really cool. There's a lot of shooters that came out. There was pro teams that rolled up,
Mm-hmm.
as expected. There was pros at the last Derby, but big shout out to M-Town Baggers and Nonfiction Man collabing and doing another one because I was really happy that they did another one this year. I was because they were like, yeah, we do it once a year, and I'm like, dude,
Once a
I
year.
played
They've
in.
done 3 this past year.
Did they do 3? Oh,
Yeah,
I know that they did 2.
I've done
For,
two outdoors, and then this one was indoors. They've done 3.
3 this year alone.
And I'm maybe
sure?
not this year alone, but I'm pretty sure it's been 3.
Because I know it was, man, I want to say it was back in May, or it was like, I think it was May. The end of May. I think they had the first Derby, and that was outdoors.
Let's
And
look.
then this one here in October. But I think they collab. I want to say they collabed it last time. I was so new. I was really new into cornhole. Um, I think it was like 6 months ago, man.
Yeah, no, they did March, May, and then now. Unless they're
March?
talking about,
Oh, you know what?
unless they're talking about cornhole season because it's a new season that started. But
It
this
could
year
be.
of 2023, they've done 3.
But I didn't play in March then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't playing yet. I've been at what 6 months now. So, but yeah, I played the second one then. So I guess they did have 3. But so I
Mm-hmm.
played the second one, which was a lot of fun, man. I was hooked. Played the Switch, and then this time I was like, let's go. I'm ready for it. Which, even though we lost, or we got 7th, I'm still ready for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we gave some great shooters runs for their money, man. And a big, like I would say, like one of the big standout games was fighting after we hit the losers bracket and we beat Juice and
Mm-hmm.
and D Bags.
That game was not good for me. I was struggling.
It was
in that
great for
game.
me.
It was
I
good
came
for
back,
you.
man.
No, it was good for you. But let's talk about the rounders.
Yeah, let's start with
So
that.
I started playing a lot better. And I know we had talked about this previously. And you're like, bro, you shoot so good in like these switches, just like on average nights. Why are you shooting so low with me? And I was like, man, I told you on the phone, it's because I don't talk. And you're like, all right, well then don't talk to me. So I just put my headset on and I was just listening to music. And like, I think I maybe asked you for like 1 or 2 shots out of like 6 games.
Yeah, no,
And like I just pretty much focused on playing, didn't worry about communicating, and I just played my game, and I literally shot way better. I had like
And
a couple
mind you-
9s too that day.
well, mind you, the thing we're talking about is like not lack of communication, like where we're not working together.
Mhm.
It's just having a rhythm where you're used to I'm on my headphones, I'm zoning everybody out, and I'm focusing on bag for bag. If I gotta communicate because something just seems off, or maybe my partner has a better option for me, then we will work through that. But as far as just playing your game, that's what we're supposed to do, because
Well,
I
like,
mean,
the first game we played, I didn't
Yeah.
even ask you. I just started playing, and then saw an opportunity to shoot an airmail drag. Ended up
Oh,
hitting.
dude, we
I
killed it that
I
first
grabbed
game.
the first, like the backside bag, not the front one, but it left it there to block his. He had 2. I had one sitting in front of the hole, and he had one behind my bag.
Yep.
So I didn't grab the one in the front, but I grabbed the one in the back, and like I just didn't even hesitate. I was like, I'm just going for it. That's what was set in my mind. I'm not asking because then it'll throw off the rhythm. But the fact that
Yeah.
I was already set on it and I knew what I was doing, I was just shooting it. I just did it.
Oh, dude, and they were feeling good because they came off a win right away. Like we hadn't
Mhm.
even played yet.
Yeah, that was
and
our
they were
first game, and they
already-
already had one game in.
Yeah, and one win. Like they were already like,
Mm-hmm.
winning. So they're feeling good. They got, momentum on their side because they just pulled a win. We haven't started yet, so we got to get the jitters going on that first bag.
Mm-hmm.
And we threw heat, dude. I mean, we threw heat all the way up to game 5. Well, we finished 5-0, but game 5 hit for me, and that's where I started noticing I was drifting a little to the left. Board
Mm-hmm.
was a little crooked, which I was kind of annoyed with that, but I got at the end of the day, I gotta learn to just fight through that stuff. Everybody else was.
Mm-hmm.
But game 6, man, killed me. Like just mentally killed me. Now the guy I'm shooting against, nothing against him at all. Obviously, you don't like to lose and you don't like to keep getting 12s thrown on you, round after round.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a 12 shooter, man. If you're leaving him open, he's hitting everything.
The only time he missed is when he had a nose down bag. If his nose was up, it was going in the hole every time.
Every time.
And I think they were throwing
time.
some kind of double dragons. It's just like a Viper R, pretty straightforward bag, slide in, very hole friendly.
Right.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but if you throw double dragons, you'll know.
Well, I'll tell you, my game plan was to block him, but since I was already kind of just in my own head, once again, like I'm like, oh, like my pride was going to me because I'm like, I'm a hole for hole guy too. Like I can hit it, but I also can tune up and play the, I can play the dirty bag game, and I didn't. And then when I tried to, I was already annoyed, and every time I go to block, everything kicked left. So I'm still leaving holes wide open for this guy. Now, if everybody knows me, they know I'm a pretty consistent and pretty accurate guy. This was a very forgettable 2 games because not only did we play them that time and we lost, we went 5-1 in the rounders. We then play our first playoff game against the same guys, and I'm just like heated. I'm like, let's go, like I'm done. I'm gonna play them again. I don't care. I'm beating them, and once again, I mean, we did put up more points this time, but once again, same thing happened. And it's just because I literally let it happen. And not only that,
I want to say that game, he shot like a 9.88. I shot like a 9.5, and I think my opponent shot a 9.3, and then you shot like an 8.7 or 8.8.
Dude, it was terrible, man. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And I think I had opportunities to beat him. He was missing bags that game. His consistency had actually
like he had
dropped.
one slide off the back, and I was like, oh, good, Richard's going to put a 12 up. And then you throw it, and it would come up short. And I was
either
like,
come up short or went left.
Or kick off, and I was like, or he would miss. And I'd be like, okay, he gave a bag back. Because when you're thinking points in your head, you're like, oh, okay, he gave up basically 2. He can only finish with a 10. I'm going to capitalize, and then you would shoot like a 8. And I'm just like, oh, no.
Yeah. And that I hit, like if they give up a couple, it's 12, man. It's a 10-12, somewhere around there, But man, it was just one of those ones, man. Like those games ate at me. Took a breather. We had time because obviously we hit losers brackets, so we had to wait a little bit, and then we go into it. We go into an intense game. We know those guys. They're shooters, and then I threw heat that game.
Yep, and I fell off.
Killed it, but you were falling off, but you hit what needed to be for the win, and it was that roll shot. I said, hit the roll, man, because at the end of the day, it's like you could hit, you might be able to land a block on them.
Well, because what it was is I think it was 19-20 or 19-19. I think it was 19-19, right?
No,
or 19-18, something like that.
It was. We needed
2.
We needed, because it was 19-17.
19-17. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was 4-4. We both had a bag left.
Yeah.
He had it slightly. Yeah, both had a bag off. He had it slightly hanging in the hole, and I had a block in front of his, and I rolled over like a 2-bag single wide, like right in.
Well, we called the timeout. You came over to ask, I said, hey, I want you to roll it because at the end of the day, your roll was pretty consistent. You had a couple bad rolls that went off. But I mean, like I said,
I would say that game was the
only night.
Yeah, that one was the only one I had bad rolls. Like games before that, I was rolling over single bags just to leave blockers and stuff, and I was doing just fine.
And that's what I wanted. I was like, you know what? Roll. If it doesn't go in, you're gonna at least still probably create a little chaos down by the hole. Maybe
it'll sit on the bag.
It.
Yeah,
exactly.
Something to stay on the board.
But you rolled right in, man. And even if he hits that airmail with the drag,
We
we're
only give
only
up
gonna
2.
be we're only giving up a couple points.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew from my end, I was like, my partner, he's a great dude, but I knew mentally he was struggling because I was getting him round for round.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I feel confident. We'll be good. Anything obviously could have happened, but
Yeah.
but we did. And actually though, right before that round, me and him watched 12s.
Mm-hmm.
So he was catching back up. So it
Mm-hmm.
was probably good that you finished it right then and there. And then,
Yeah.
Juice goes up and he hits the airmail, misses
Well, because
off
he
the
had to
back
be
end.
in at least. Because if he
He had to at
boards
least be
it,
in.
it gives up 2 and we win the game. But
Yeah.
he ended up shooting the airmail deep, and
Yep.
it won us the game.
Nothing dropped, came off, and it was a 7-4 round. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we pulled the win. And then we go into the next game and it went right back to hell. I didn't like where I was at though.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I and even my partner, or not my partner, my opponent, who is a good friend, said the same thing. He's like, it's a terrible spot. I mean, I was interfered with a throw that gave us a 12-9,
Mm-hmm.
3-point loss on that. And then
Well, there was
and
a
then
round that
honestly,
he had 2 on. He had 8 and I had a 7. All I had to do was go in, wide open
yeah,
board,
right,
and my opponent's kid walked right by you, his 2
yeah,
kids, and I
yeah,
missed it. I shanked it to the right, and I
yeah.
washed out the round. And I looked at him, and I said something, and he started laughing or whatever. And I was like, and to say the fact, it was your kids that walked by because you paid them off to do that. And he's like, I was hoping you wouldn't notice that they were my kids.
Oh
But
man,
I'm just like, yeah, no, it was a bad spot for the board to be set up, because that was the only way to walk through. And
yeah.
people,
No, it was
people
a
try to
hard
slip
spot.
their way through, but you're mid throw, they walk through, it catches your eye, like throws you off, like, and then
Most of them were pretty good about it though. Like they would notice,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll wait. I would still say even when you throw, and then they walk through, it kind of still like mentally kind of messes up your like
Your flow.
your whole flow to like where you're standing, everything. Just the one that got me was one of the kids that ran through.
Mm-hmm.
Love the kid, man. He's a great up and coming kid. I think Landon. Congrats to him. Him and Daryl got first in the B
The
bracket.
lowers, yeah.
But he didn't even notice, and it's fine. You know what I mean? Like it happens. He even apologized. He said, "I'm sorry, man. I didn't even notice." I was like, "Dude, it's all good."
Because what,
Like
that was for a 12.
that was the 12-9 round.
Yeah, the 12-9. And
Yeah.
he like walked by and you swung your arm like out or something, or
I had
into
to
like dodge
I
him.
kind of had to turn my body as I threw. I thought he was gonna wait, but he wasn't actually even looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
He was just kind of flipping his bags. He loves to like juggle his bags around. And he just walked through. And as I like threw, I turned like my body, and it went shanked off to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I was able to capitalize my last bag, but at that point, it was like I went off. He goes in 12-9 round, 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we were already down. Nonetheless, though, here's the thing. It doesn't matter. A couple bad, parts of that round doesn't make up for the fact that we were still throwing for a minute and we weren't capitalizing stuff that we could have.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of
in the game.
opportunities that I had.
Yeah.
That
And not everybody was
missed, and it
bugging us
like,
the entire time. So we're,
I think
that's on
mentally
us.
I was already just frustrated with that game because of everything
Right.
that happened, and the game before we didn't have time to like just hang out or whatever. Like it was
Yeah.
straight into the next game, and I was like, I just threw like terrible. And I'm going into this game like,
But hats off to Suave and Brent, man. They made it all the way to the championship.
they almost
game,
double dipped too.
and they almost double dipped them, man.
They won the first game like 21-13, and the next game I think they lost 22-17 or something like that.
Yeah,
It was
they
really
were shootout
close.
games, man. But I'll tell you what, Suave and Brent were money.
Mhm.
The rest of the night, it was crazy, man. Like they were just not missing anything. It was
Mhm.
it was a spectacular game. Back, even the one right before the what did they have to play like 2 more? They just finished up against what was that? Nate Long and Valdivia.
Mhm.
And that was insane. They were losing that game, and they came back and they were just. I think Suave just won like 3-4 straight 12s, like
Wow.
just, and it was like not easy ones. They weren't wide open,
Mhm.
and they pull that win, and then they go into the next one. I didn't see the score because we were leaving at that time, but yeah, they played I want to say Emax and Corey Ballard. They beat them, and then they go into that one against Mark Lopez, and Mark had, I forget who he had. Who was his partner that day?
I don't know. It's got a Santa Clarita, I think, area.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what his name
I think
is.
he's a pro. If I'm not mistaken, he is a pro.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, but I know he normally plays.
Doesn't he play with Cherney, right?
He normally plays with McDonald, I'm pretty sure. The one that you threw again.
Oh, the one that kicked my ass? Yeah.
Yeah, he normally throws with him. That's his normal partner, I'm pretty sure. Like,
right.
I know they play quite a bit together.
Yeah.
But.
Well, hats off to the winners. And, I mean, either way, we can't list excuses of what happened. We're just basically, for the viewers, we were just listing things that did happen. And, I mean, there's no excuses. We got to play better. And that's where I'm saying the mental part of this game is even the mental stamina. If things are bugging you or whatever, it's really hard to get back into your rhythm, especially if you had a rhythm all game, or all day. And I did. I had a nice rhythm, man. I was just
we were 5-0. We were killing it up until the last playoff or the last rounder, and then going to the playoffs. It was kind of
even that game to go 5 straight. I had already noticed I was starting to kick left.
Well, because you were watching a lot of rounds with Daryl, and I would land in with block, and I'd roll over it, and then he was getting more frustrated with his own blocks. So I figured, okay, I'm just going to keep causing chaos.
Oh, you know what? No, it wasn't the one against Daryl, because I still threw over 9 in that game. It was the one before that against the South OC bad guys. And that's the one I noticed I started kicking left. And I did okay. I still, DPR-wise, still finished higher. But that's where I started noticing I was kicking a little left. I think I didn't notice it as much because I was kind of like laughing and joking around with them. Big Al was standing there, and we were just chatting while I was throwing. But yeah, no, when we went to the next one, it just went right back to it, and I was just kicking left. And I think I just had like a cluster of them that was just sitting there left, and you just got to find a way to get back on track. I mean, we all do it. Everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, like you're a top pro, you're still going to hit, those weird points in a game. And that's why it's not consistent. The same person always wins,
Yep. Like, I mean, some people are on that day, some people are off, and you just hope that the day you need to be on, you're on, kind of thing,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Lock in and stay just, your mind is on Cornhole the entire time, and not thinking about everything else and who's ahead of you or, who's out throwing who or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're just living in the moment of that game.
Yep.
So Derby was fun. It wasn't a success, but it was a success for
we definitely
backers
played
and nonfiction.
We played a lot better together. I think that was probably our best tournament together.
Yeah.
But other than that, moving forward, Bag Mania coming up, Las Vegas, like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Cannot wait. That one right now, currently for me, I'm in the open singles, waiting to get in on the open doubles. We should be able to get in. I know it's sold out at the moment, but people have dropped. People will drop. If they don't, unfortunately, it won't be my year for doubles. But
they already opened registrations for the next one. If we want to register for doubles.
Yeah, register for the next year.
But yeah, I'll be playing singles and doubles. In open, and we're gonna see how it goes. Gonna be a lot of pros, a lot of hard competition there, but we're just gonna make it just go as far as we can. We're gonna obviously film the whole thing. It'll be a good 2 videos for you guys, and it's gonna be a good time. I'm playing with a guy named Justin Dermody. He's out of Oregon, first year ACL pro, sponsored by Black Sheep. Threw really well this past one in Iowa, so I'm hopefully I can keep up my end with him, and hopefully we can do some damage. I mean, I don't know exactly what bags we're gonna be throwing. I know we'll probably throw something Black Sheep is my guess. We were talking about bags he likes to Costellos. They're a little fast for me, but we might throw the Sentence bags. They're like a 6'9", basically herringbone carpet, so I'm assuming roughly the same thing as a Wingman, I'm hoping. But if not, we'll maybe throw like Costello Xers. I mean, we'll figure it out. But I think we could do some damage. I mean, just going in, if I play how I played at this derby and just get more locked in than that, like, I could probably do some damage. I mean, I wasn't throwing bad. I was throwing 9s quite a bit of the games there. Rolls were pretty consistent. I just got to stay focused and stay straight, and I know I'll be fine.
See, I absolutely love your roll shot. Your airmail still scares me.
Oh, yeah, my airmail scares me because the reason I don't really practice it that much, which is bad to say. But I've always had the motto is roll it, because if you miss, it'll stay on airmail. Most time it bounces off or does something weird. Or
Right.
I feel like a roll is just a little bit more safe, in my opinion. But I mean, there's times that you need to hit airmail drags, and sometimes the piles isn't right for a roll. But I feel like 9 times out of 10, I'm throwing a roll. Like, that's just my choice, and that's just what I prefer. I mean, I threw Vikings for 6 months, and that's all I did was just roll. So I got pretty consistent with rolling. Airmail just wasn't my thing.
Right.
I mean, I'll hit them if I have to, and it's like a 50-50 at that point. But with a roll, I feel way more confident and like way just like calm going into it, I guess.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
But,
no, your roll shot is absolute money. Whether it's going in or it's just gaining hole advantage, you know.
Well, because it likes to sit on top of bags. It'll get in front of bags to block. It'll take the advantage
who's
of
the
the
king
hole.
of sitting on bags and roll shots? That's me.
No, literally.
Because like I'll hit a roll, like I can roll, you know, but generally I don't know what it is. I'm in game and you're like roll it, and then it's like roll, land on bags, or get right in front and it'll like land weird on the front of that bag, and they have nothing they can do with it. They could try to push, they're not going to, so they go up, and then you know it creates chaos for them. But no,
I think your roll is just a little high, because it comes down and it slaps, it gets up, but it doesn't have the momentum to carry it forward.
I wouldn't say high. I would say I'm not throwing it hard enough.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you bring it down a little bit, you'll throw harder to get it.
I'm sure it could. Yeah, I'm sure it could. It's just finding the muscle memory for it. Now I got the point where it's consistently backloaded every time. My problem is I think I still kind of overthink it a little bit instead of just letting it rip. Because I'm at home, and
I think that's the same thing with airmails. At home, I can throw an airmail all day, but you're like airmail, then I think about it.
You know,
tell
what's
me
really
to roll,
weird
I don't think about it.
Is when I'm at home and I'm throwing airmails, like I'm always off. But when I'm in tournaments, I hit the nastiest game-winning airmails all day.
That's interesting.
I've done it so many times, man. It's crazy. Like I've gone. I mean, you weren't there that day. It was a switch at Laverne, and I hit triple airmails, and it was like a 10-3 win.
Wow.
Over a great player, and originally he blocked, and I don't know why he blocked, but he did. He blocked. So I blocked right behind him.
Well, probably because you're a hole for hole shooter. I'd go for a block for a shot.
Well, no, but the thing is that we were winning, and you know, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Everybody plays different. So in my mind, I was like, okay, he might start going hole for hole just because he needs to try to capitalize points, and hopefully I just start missing or whatever. But he blocked. I blocked behind him. He goes for an airmail. He missed off the back. I airmail, sink it. He goes for another airmail. He hits and lands, but it doesn't go in. It hits off the back. I hit another airmail, sink it. And then he does another airmail, hits, lands, and then I hit a third airmail in a row. Like, you know, and it was a 10-3 game for the win. And that actually put us in the king seat that night. Now, mind you, that was still the night, or that was still that week of me kind of mental battling some stuff. And that's, you know, I had a very, very forgettable first game in the championship throwing a 5-5, dude. Like I haven't thrown a 5-5 in I don't know how long. But we're all human and we all make those mistakes. And that was me in that game. But yeah, no, I don't know what it is. Like airmails, I can hit crunch time. Roll shots, I hit at home all day because I think just relaxed environment and I don't think about it as much. But yeah.
Well, it's like we had talked about before. When we sit on the phone and talk to someone and throw bags, you pretty much make like 90% of your bags, I feel like.
All day.
And it's like you can roll, you can airmail, you can do anything.
Yeah.
But as soon as you hang up the phone and you're like, okay, I'm going to throw some bags, then now you're thinking about it. When you don't think about it, you just throw, you throw so good. And it's weird.
Absolutely. So yeah, so Bags Mania is going to be fun. We are excited about that one.
And if you do see us, come say hi.
Up. Yeah, absolutely.
See us walking around.
You come up and say hi if you haven't already. If you never met us, but you've been watching the show, come on through. We're chatty as hell. So, also guys, once again, I am officially sponsored by Brotherhood Cornhole. We have the new Bags Mania bags. So if you are playing Bags Mania and you want to get a set that's going to, feature Bags Mania, we got them right here. These things are awesome. This is the Wingman. But it's got Dirty Bags, which they have partnered with Also Crown City, because Crown City is running Bags Mania. Brotherhood, they are officially pro stamped. You can get them in Wingmans, which is what I'm throwing, but I believe you can get them in Guardians and Bedlams, the same style bag. If you use my code Nyberg10, it's going to give you that discount on the bags as well. And I mean, hey, it helps me out too, and it helps out Brotherhood Cornhole as well. So yeah, if you're in the market for some new bags and you want a cool, stylish bag right now that's going to be featured for Bags Mania, that's what I recommend.
I would definitely say, if you haven't touched a Wingman, you need to find one and throw one.
Oh, dude,
It's probably one of my favorite bags. It's like probably the most hole-friendly carpet bag, not too fast, not too slow. And then if you want to roll, you just got to backload it, and it rolls. But if you don't want to backload it, it's not going to hop around. It's not going to skip. It's not going to jump like some of these other bags out there. But if you want to roll, it's not going to fight with you to try not to roll. Like, it's just going to roll for you.
Oh, it's beautiful. And it's such a beautiful bag. It lays flat. It really does. There's no kick on it. And extremely hole
But if you're
friendly.
trying to cut it, you can get a kick on it.
Oh, yeah, you can cut. Yeah, 100%.
But I know people that throw like sideways saw blade looking bags, and it goes straight.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't kick.
Yeah.
But if you do the right like tilt on it for a cut or a roll, it's going to do it.
Yeah.
Which is
the
really
way
nice
you
in
want
a bag.
it.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
It's not like an unpredictable bag at all. You can pretty much predict what it's going to do most of the time.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful bag. I found a bag that I really enjoy throwing, so yeah, absolutely. So after Bags Mania, we got a couple regionals on the way. We got one November 11th. Believe I'm playing in the singles and the doubles that day again. Got to get myself some more ACL points. That one I think we're doing it in San Diego, right? The Sportsplex.
Yeah, San Diego. Yeah.
And then we have one in December too. That one's Stadium, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Sure, we'll go with it. I don't
think
remember.
So.
I know you sent.
Yeah.
I know we were sending them back and forth.
Yeah, there's been a few, but these are two good ones. They're going to have a lot of talent. Definitely the San Diego one's going to have some shooters we haven't seen before. You might have seen some because you do.
I've played one down in. I played one down in San Diego. I'm actually going to go down there today and play, get some ACL local points. Just note, if you guys are trying to get some local points, I know when I had it nonfiction on Monday, I didn't get rewarded my 40 points for ACL locals, which is kind of a lot of points. 40 points is a good chunk. You have to have a membership. So I ended up buying the platinum or whatever is the $100. But basically, if you play 10 ACLs, you get your money back because you get all the percentage off, and then you don't have deposit fees or anything. So just make sure if you're trying to get some ACL points, get a membership.
But they don't have to get the platinum.
No, you can get
a
gold
silver
or silver.
You can get you can get a silver or a gold. Like if you just want silver, so you can just get your stat tracks for your points, do that. But yeah, if you got the free account, you're not gonna get it. So,
but what's weird is I got my regional points, but I didn't get my local points. So that's why I thought it was kind of confusing. But yeah, so I'm gonna be playing 2 local points tournaments this week. So hopefully I can get some back that I missed out on.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, there you go. There you have it there. One last thing before we go. We had a question last week pertaining to the next podcast episode, which is today. Do you have that up right now?
No, I can look at it real quick.
This was kind of cool.
But if you guys want us to answer your questions, just leave them in the comments of each podcast, and we'll touch on them the following podcast.
Yes, ask us questions. We're more than happy to help out. We'll probably even have them in YouTube Shorts too, which would be pretty good. So if you guys just want to hear something small out of there, check out the YouTube Shorts as well. But yeah, questions, you guys are more than welcome to ask us. I mean, we'll try to answer everything that we do know, or we've kind of have some decent knowledge on. By no means are we professionals and are trying to tell people how to do stuff, but we are pretty darn good at this game, and we can help out the best we can.
I would say just take what advice you want and leave what advice you want. We're just going to give you what we know, our knowledge, and that's pretty much what we're going to give.
Yeah, and it may work for you, may not, and then you keep asking around. Like I asked a few people on roll shots and watched YouTube videos, and a YouTube video did not help me at all. Because at the end of the day, you got to do it yourself. But there is some things that you can get from people letting you know stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
All right, so I got the question for you. It says, I have an idea for a topic for the show. I know a lot of people are going to watch it, or a lot of people watching know cornhole in and out, but there are probably some people out here that are watching that are trying to get into cornhole or learn more about it and maybe explain some of the terminology of cornhole, maybe some tips and tricks for beginners. Also explain what to do during situations in a game, whether to block or go for the air mount or just a few suggestions. I love the show and will continue watching. American Spartan knows me. It's NFL Detroit.
great question. Great question. Really, it comes down to like some terminology of the game. It's pretty easy. I mean, there's a few things. Airmail, it's pretty
It's like a swish in
self-explanatory.
basketball.
Yep, literally, you're just
Just
gonna
right in
hit
the
it right in
hole.
the hole without hitting anything else. Um, push
Slide shot,
bags.
push bag.
Well, you got a push bag. You're gonna push a bag through. You know, you can leave it as a block, or it just comes up short, and you take your other bag and clean it up. Um, you got a roll shot. You can roll over bags into the hole. You
You
got
got
cut shots. You can cut around a bag, leave that bag there. A lot of people like, they don't want to mess with that other bag if it's sitting there. They can cut around it. They find that a little bit easier. These are low percentage shots, but
you got
we'll just
block,
say,
slide and
yeah,
shot,
yeah.
basic ones that
You
pretty
got
much speak
the
for
bar of
themselves.
soap.
Bar soap.
Yeah, bar of soap is kind of an interesting one. That's a very low percentage kind of shot.
It's also it just has to you can't just hit it every time. It has to be a certain situation that it gets set up in. Basically,
Yeah.
it's where one bag's on the bottom, one bag's on the top, and you hit it hard enough to eject the top bag over the hole or off to the side, and then you drag the bottom one in with your bag that you threw.
Yeah.
It's basically what
But
a bar soap
sometimes
is.
you can still get the bar of soap without their bag going off.
Yeah.
You can actually leave their bag there, and then collect yours, which is nice too, because then you're cashing in on points and leaving their stuff there. So
Mm-hmm.
I've done that where I've had I've cashed 6 points off that because I got the collect, left their bag, and then they go to push it, and then they completely whiffed off the side and left that bag there anyways. So, yeah, it's
And they got a penguin. Do you know what a penguin
Yeah.
is?
No, that's a new one to me.
So basically, if say here's the hole, right, and then they have a blocker, and then you have a bag in the front. You basically throw it fast side hard enough to scoop your front bag, and the two jump over into the hole.
Oh, okay.
So that's what a penguin is. And then do you know what a starfish is?
No, that's a new one for me too. See, this
Starfish.
is working for me as well.
So a starfish is basically you have your bottom bag and then the top bag, and you throw an airmail, and it hits the top bag off and drags the bottom one.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty much like a bar soap in a way. I just saw it on Spencer's video. He's also sponsored by Brotherhood, but that's what a starfish is.
Well, they also have the backdoor shot, which some people call a little bit different, but there is the backdoor. It's a terminology term used in cornhole. I've looked it up, but you can hit the backdoor shot. Basically, you're going up for an airmail. You're gonna leave, like they'll say backsides too, which
Backside airmail, yeah.
So they got backside airmail or backdoor airmail. Basically, if you have to hit an airmail shot, their bag is hanging, and you do not want to bring that bag in and drag it with, you got to go off the back door or the backside and drop that in without touching their bag. It's very low percentage. You got to be absolutely precise to pull that shot off.
It basically banks off the back of the hole and drops in.
Absolutely. So there's that, and then are we missing? Oh well, there is the airmail drag. We didn't talk
The
about
airmail drag.
Airmail drag. That is what you want to do if you need to bring a bag in. If it's hanging, you definitely want to collect both those bags, but you got to be precise with that as well too.
I know so many times that I go for an airmail drag, and I hit it too clean where it doesn't even bring the bag in.
Oh yeah,
happens so many times.
It doesn't even move. You're like, no way.
Yeah.
No way. Or you get a backdoor shot, and you're like, I didn't want that. I wanted to come a little closer and pull that bag. And there's probably gonna be more stuff. That'll come up. There might be something new, name invented. I've seen like people surf bags. They'll land on top of a bag instead of it trampolining off. It actually lands and it surfs and brings both bags. Those are pretty cool. That's hard to do, and I think that's kind of like a luck shot.
It's more of an
than
accidental, 100%.
Yeah.
There's no way you can predict that.
There's that. Now for anybody out there that's starting out, I would say the main thing that you should worry about is getting on the board. 100%. Getting on the board.
Mm-hmm.
After getting on the board, working on going in the hole. I don't care how your bag looks. I don't care how it feels, because eventually you're going to get so consistent with being on the board or going in the hole that then you can start working on form. I think the main thing is getting on that board.
Well, sometimes people also don't realize playing backyard cornhole, you play about 16 to 20 feet.
Yeah.
With how we play is 27 feet front to front.
Yeah.
So it's
So
a lot further than what you think.
Even if you got like Walmart boards or Big Five boards, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you got a board like a it's not regulated. Still put it 27 feet front to front. That's gonna help. And don't cross the foul line
Mm-hmm.
with your feet. Make sure you do throw and release that bag without crossing over. Just because you're gonna hit fouls on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the main thing is just keep working on consistency, getting on the board, and constantly, trying to just get closer and closer to that hole. And then once you get those things down, you can start working on form, whether you want to, have a no step, or you want to stand there and just throw. You got a couple options there. And then have fun. That's a big
Mm-hmm.
one. I mean, if you're not having fun, it's not going to be for you. I mean, the first time I ever played was against a very, very good player. He beat the snot out of me in the game in like 2 rounds. And I was not discouraged, because I then knew, I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is an actual super competitive sport.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me now, in just a short amount of time, this successful already. And I'm excited to see where the next couple of years take me. But yeah, you got to have fun.
Yeah. I would say also for beginners, don't be scared to go to tournaments. Just go find a tournament, play social. There's going to be other players that are shooting maybe like a 3, 4, 5 PPR, so you don't have anything to worry about. Just go out there, have fun, learn from people, talk to people. People in this sport, I'd say like 98% of the people are not mean, and they will help you and they will show you and they'll let you throw their bags. As long as you treat them well, like you're trying, whatever, most of the time. Yeah. And that's another thing. Get out and try as many bags as you can. And then you're going to kind of find what you like, what you don't like, what kind of fills. Like once you start getting more into it, you'll figure out the path that you want to go down with what kind of bags you want to throw.
Yeah.
And your play style, because they're going to affect how you play.
I don't even recommend buying bags. Like go to tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a social switch, I mean, everybody's going to have bags there,
mm-hmm.
for the most part. You might come into a few people that are also new and don't have any.
But someone will give you a set.
Someone will have a set for you to use. Generally, I mean, I've got sets, ridiculous amounts of sets.
I know a lot of the tournaments I go to, they supply them for new people because they want new people to come. They'll give you a set of bags to let you use.
Absolutely. Yeah. So don't even buy sets of bags yet. You know what I mean? I mean, unless you're helping somebody out or whatever, and they're advising you that, hey, it's a really good bag. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, but yeah, there's some rough bags out there that are really, really fast or extremely slow.
Like I would never give someone a Viking to start out with. They would hate the game.
Dude, the first set that I ever rolled out with, man, was local Mambas. Oh my God.
I've only thrown one local bag ever.
Bro, that's a burlap sack bag. I'm telling you right now, this thing, no offense to local, but wow, this bag was brutal. Absolutely brutal, man. It was like, I don't even know the speeds on it. It was just slow. Really, really slow. Fast side was slow. Like, but I still did good with it. And then eventually I started learning about bags, and then I changed up and I found bags that work for me. But yeah, play with everybody's bags, and really feel the difference between a broken in bag and a non-broken in bag. And you're gonna see the difference too about how hole friendly it is. Yeah, so that's a big one. And then just don't ever be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Like you said, 98% of the players out there are really good, and think about those odds. That's some high odds. Of you're gonna come across somebody super cool and down to earth that's gonna be willing to show you stuff, and even if they're not even like experienced, but they have some things that they've learned, because
or they're already friends with a good person and they can guide you to them.
Yeah.
They're and like, oh, hey, I know this guy. Let's go over here and talk to him. He can show you how to hold a bag, grip a bag, throw a bag, whatever you need to do.
Right. And we've given some tips, some minor tips, because honestly, like I said, we're not here to, you know, tell you this is how you have to do it. We're here to give you some insight of what
Mm-hmm.
you could do and try it. And if it doesn't work for you, then, ask somebody else, or even let us know, hey, we tried that mentality, it's not working or whatnot. I mean, for this, really, this was kind of real easy. If you're getting into it and you want to
Mm-hmm.
play. Like that's the biggest thing. Play. Don't be afraid to throw a bag. You're gonna miss, especially if you are new. You're gonna miss. Even the best miss, but you're gonna miss more often than not. And don't let that discourage you, because you're gonna get better. I've watched it. I've looked at my stats from when I first started. Horrendous, but as expected.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
then
I started with hardly hitting the board. I'd keep
yeah,
like 3 or 2 on, and that's it. And I'd be lucky to get one in.
right,
And you just grew from there. Like
yeah.
you stay persistent with the game, and you keep playing, keep practicing, and you'll get it.
Well, it's crazy for me. I'm kind of a weird exception. My first tournament I averaged like a 4, a little over a 4. It's like a 4.5. My second tournament I already went up to like a 6.2, and then my third tournament I was already shooting at a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's pretty decent for somebody that was just starting out. But I have, like I said, if you've watched the first podcast, you know my backstory. I was pro horseshoes, and then I was also a competitive high school bowler. I just have that natural, like, hand-eye coordination, underhand tossing,
I mean,
you
you've been
know.
doing it for over 10 years, underhand
Yeah,
throws. So.
exactly. So it just came a little easier for me, but definitely the one thing I love about this sport is the fact that it is not easy at all. Nobody can tell you it's easy. There's a lot of mental side to this game, and it is a full-on chess match, especially when you do get to the upper competitive
Mm-hmm.
players. A full chess match.
Well, also too is like there is people out there in tournaments that a lot of people just are there to have fun and hang out and socialize and
Yes.
play. It's not like everyone has to go pro or everyone has to be super serious. Like if you
Right.
just want to just join it as like a local, just like fun thing that you
Have some
do,
beers and
like that's
literally
what a
throw some
lot of them
cornhole. Yeah.
do.
They're escaping from their normal jobs just to come out and throw. They want to.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you know what? I got $20 to burn and a few dollars for some beers. I'm gonna have fun with friends. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like your social like bowling, teams and stuff. They just want to get together and bowl and have fun. It's the same thing
Mm-hmm.
with cornhole.
Yep.
You know, $20 to throw some bags. Some are cheaper than that, but
They're usually
you know,
$10 to $20.
yeah. So you're gonna throw and you're gonna have some fun. You're gonna learn, and then if you decide that you want to become more competitive, then you start up in your game and you go in there and get your butt kicked by a bunch of advanced players quite a few times before you start realizing how to
I would
grasp the
just say
game.
go if you want to take a little bit more serious, go play an intermediate ACL, and then you'll
Oh
see if
yeah,
you really like the game or not. Because they're not
that's
gonna
true.
like destroy you, but at the same time, playing an intermediate, you're gonna get those handful of each players from each like local event that all come together that are just more serious. That's how I explained it. Like it's not that they're better or anything. They're just a little bit more serious at ACLs. That's all it is.
Right.
Because people just want to play this game. They don't. I mean, they still drink and stuff, but it's not social hour at an ACL
Right.
for the most part. It's a I'm here to play, I'm here to compete type thing. Even though you're still playing at the intermediate level, you're going to be shooting 6 to 7s, but it's just those few people, individuals from each local tournament that take it a little bit more serious than the average, show up, and you guys all get put in one bracket and you play. And that's how you're going to know if you like competing in the sport. Then you're going to gradually work your way up through competitive, advanced, playing open, and that's just yeah. A lot of people.
And
That's just
now,
a little more serious environment.
now, if they're not in an area that does anything ACL wise, check and see if they got anything ACO, because that is also still
Mm-hmm.
another, it's a whole other division, but they run through Scoreholio. So
That's
um
mainly more like East Coast though, so that's why
yeah,
we
there's
don't
a
play
lot of
in it. We play ACL because
East
mainly it's just
Coast.
ACL out here.
Yeah. Um but yeah, I mean, you'll find cornhole anywhere. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's everywhere now. But yeah, I hope that helped a little bit. Yeah, feel free, viewers, ask questions in the comments, and we'll try to at least pick one or two out that we like, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
answer. And if we don't get it answered in that one, we might don't think that we won't. We might be able to bring it into a different episode.
Mm-hmm.
Also, stay tuned too. We're gonna be hitting up people to see if they want to come in on a call and just chat about either their club, if they're running one, or if they're just a player for that club or whatever, how long they've been playing. We're just gonna ask some fun
Mm-hmm.
questions, and just kind of keep the show rolling. So I
Yep.
don't think we got anything else for the rest of this one,
I
right?
think that's it.
All right.
It's gonna wrap up episode 3.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you guys do like, subscribe, and make those comments in there. Share these podcasts around the Cornhole community because they're a lot of fun, and it's insightful, but also about our journey and how we're coming into our own, and the journey of us trying to make the pro status, which I know we could do.
I don't even think it's just about winning the pro status. It's about winning a national here. I'm not stopping just at pro.
No, we're not stopping at pro, but I mean, that's the next step, man.
Yeah.
Pro, or take out some big name pros, It can definitely happen. But yeah, make sure, once again, like, subscribe, comment, share.
Socials will be down below.
Absolutely. Check us out on our
if you
other
want
social medias.
Brotherhood bags.
Yes. Use that code Nyberg10. Get your discount on Brotherhood Cornhole, on accessories and bags. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. This will wrap up episode 3 AEC. And you guys have an awesome day, night, whatever time it is for you out there.
We'll see you later.